I'm in our patch of kale today, and I wanted to share with you a trick that I do to regrow my kale. So this kale is 1 year old. I have different patches of kale. I have one patch of kale that's 3 years old, another one that's 2 years old. I also have some in my greenhouse, which is 3 years old. And this is last year's kale. And because it's starting to flower, I'm going to take it down and show you the technique that I do where I ensure my kale to just keep growing on year after year. Even though it gets dry, it gets snow and a ton of rain. So if we were to come here and look at this plant of kale, we can see the leaves starting to change colors. You can see the dark leafy greens down here, which is what I'm going to end up taking and using. And if you take a really good look, you can see these leaves here are starting to turn more on the yellowish side. This is where the flower is going to come out. So once you see them, the kale start turning color, it's going to stop producing leaves. And that's not what we want. So basically now what I'm doing is I'm just taking all the leaves off that are usable and then going to turn them all into kale chips. And then now I just go through and just cut it all down, which doesn't take long. And so the next thing I do is I just basically like throw some organic horse manure on them. And so just to show you that I'm not against planting kale, this is my new kale for this year. This is the Toscana kale or the dinosaur kale that I'm going to use this year. And this is my curly kale that I just planted a couple months ago, that I'm going to be also using this year. So more kale, more kale, more kale. Our kale that we picked in the garden that I was cutting down earlier. And so now I'm just going to be basically prepping it so that I can do the kale chips. And all I do is basically take the bone off. Just like that. Simple as that. The next thing we're going to do is pour our cashew cheese sauce on our kale. Give it a good mixing. Okay. Make sure everything is mixed really properly and everything's got a coating on it. And then we just lay it on a dehydrator sheet. Kind of spread it all out so that air can properly move all over it. And then we stick it in a dehydrator for a day at less than 118 so we can keep it raw. So I normally dehydrate this at about 100 degrees and I come back the next day and it's ready. And I'll show you what it looks like tomorrow. So here's our kale after 24 hours of drying in the dehydrator at 100 degrees. You can see it's all hard and crispified now. And let me just show you how crunchy it gets. It's so good and delicious and super nutritious. And that's the reason why we like to grow our own kale. So there's no pesticides or chemicals on it. We know where it came from. We know the history. So we basically just dry it all like this and weigh it out and put it in bags such as this. And we sell it at Melange. So come and get yours. Delicious and nutritious kale.